Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you to this session of geography. There is a topic in geography that speaks about uniformity. And there have been occasions, years, in which questions have come upon this. But not only related to questions, we understand the concept here as well. It could be applied throughout our life, it could be applied throughout sciences, and it could be applied through, yes, the landscape, the geology, and the full earth. And the concept is the principle of uniformitarianism. Uniformitarianism. This principle is an important one, as there are some geographers, some geologists who say that applying this principle of uniformity, one could predict or one could peek into the past, that what might have happened in the past as the events unfold today also in the same manner. Now it does not go that nicely and that simply, but just to apply few geologists here as the models they have suggested, let's understand what this uniformitarianism is. Until the notion of uniformitarianism that would set up the time period of around 1830, if I were to say, or to be precise, 1832. Before 1830 or 1832, the prevailing concept was that of catastrophism. Now, as the name goes, the catastrophism would have to mean that something that would be made or destroyed along with the catastrophic events that were unfolding during the whole geological event or the genesis or the unfold of the events to form this earth. Catastrophism, the believed philosophy, the believed theory that talked about that whatever we see today might be due to catastrophes that had taken place in the past, in the geological past. So they said that the principle would identify that there were some abrupt and some sudden changes that would take place in the earth's surface into the crustal movement, into the crustal plates, and hence whatever will be formed is what we see today as a manifestation of it. This catastrophism would result in higher mountains, could also result into just the plateaus, and hence people believe that yes, catastrophism was the answer or was that camera through which we could see the past. But after 1830s, the initial years of 1830s, there would be philosophers, there would be geologists, there would be theorists who would be coming in and would be giving their all sort of theories in to tell that no, it's not that simple. Catastrophism may define some of the abrupt changes, but our earth is not only about those abrupt changes that have happened. And there would be a person with the name of Hutton who would define the idea, who would argue about the uniformitarianism, and he would be saying that whatever events occur today occur with the same intensity and in the same manner even in the past. So he said that there is a similarity between the events that occur today. These have occurred in the past also, but with the same intensity. Now this is the key word here, with the same intensity and in the same manner. Although we would look to the appraisal of it also, some constructive criticism to it, but for the time being understand, he said in the same manner and in the same intensity. The geography, if you have to understand, if you have some keywords with you, some geologists with you, some geographers with you, becomes easy. So according to uniformitarianism, if you feel that, today also we have the news about volcanic eruptions, we have the news about the earthquakes. Are these the events that are occurring only in these days or this era of yours? Not at all. These have happened since the earth would have been started in this formation episode, or its episode of being made would be starting. So according to Hutton, he postulated that whatever events occur today have occurred in the past with the same intensity and in the same manner. That means the resultant of these is the landscape that we see today. And if we are seeing some landscape today, if we want to understand what was it, what is the predecessor of it, we need to understand that these events might have happened in the past, and then we'll look for it. For example, the river eroding their way to the mouth, to the deltas. This not only exists today, but has happened in the yesteryears also. We talk about the winds. The winds do not only are flowing today in the same manner as they are doing. They have flowed in the same manner, following the same principles in the past. That means the deposits or the hollow that they might have made today, they might have been doing so in the past also. That means there is some uniformity that is to be found. After Hutton, this concept of uniformitarianism would be postulated and further followed by Lyle. In fact, Lyle was the first geologist who would say that there is headward erosion of the river. There is a headward erosion of the river. Now after this, the debate of catastrophism versus uniformitarianism would almost be reaching to the affair or to the state of rest. Lyle would again say that yes, uniformitarianism exists, and the events that have occurred today or that are occurring today have happened with the same intensity and in the same manner in the past. And he said that he had an evidence to show that the headward erosion of the rivers are a proof that something of the same sort was happening in the past. And hence, it is said that the present is the key to the past. This question has been asked in the geography optional paper, that the present is the key to the past. And if we had certain geographers with us, geologists with us, we could have answered this. Also, coming to one more thing, now taking this postulation only, it would be manifested into the biological concept. Now the theories of Hutton and the Lyle would be entering into the biological realm where Charles Darwin is waiting to prove something. Charles Darwin would say that, of course, that the processes that are taking place today and the processes that have been taking place millions of years back, these have some similarity, and these are to be proved by just seeing that it takes millions of years to make a landform. That is so true. It does not happen that the mountain will rise up in one instant. It will keep on rising, and once done, also not once done, but also it was continuously being faced by some erosion or eroding agents, and then it would also try to come down. But whatsoever factor was dominant, it would result into that sort of landform. And hence, if these landforms have been taking millions of years to get arisen or to be formed, that also means that these landforms also have an association with the species that are to be found. That means if millions of years has to take place to make a landform, it would again mean that the species would have been made in these time span. They would have come to exist. They would have even ceased to exist. And that also got a boost from other philosophers, the theologists, and many other geographers, that yes, millions of species would have come up and would have gone away. And today when we try to take out the fossils of them, we understand that what is the age in which they might have lived. So yes, this was again corroborated, given some strength by Charles Darwin. Although, now there could be fair criticisms to it, that people might say that, how can you say that the earth had uniformity throughout the geological scale? It is not so. There are certain areas, for example, if I talk about the Pleistocene time period. If I were to compare today's time with the Pleistocene time, it is not comparable. There were certain agents, or there were certain sort of landforms that were prevalent during the Pleistocene period, which is not today. And that time would have been different because of the movement, because of the presence of glaciers. Large chunk of ice was present. And hence, how can you compare, how can you say that the present is the key to the past? Today what we see did not happen in the Pleistocene time period. So people, geographers say that we cannot apply this theory of principle of uniformitarianism with the same vigor or with the same intensity. Although yes, there are evidences that something of this sort, what is happening today, existed in the past, but the intensity and the manner in which it might have happened cannot be proved. And hence, yes, there is application of it, but not an absolute application of uniformitarianism. As we see in life also, it's not that every day is a uniform one, or every life will have to be a uniform one. There are ups and downs. The intensity and manner will not be same, but yes, whatever has happened, we can just learn from it and today apply it. So the intensity and manner of today's application will be a bit different, and whatever has happened has happened. Also, there would be new geographers that would be coming in. For example, Thompson. Thompson was of the idea that Earth has been losing out its heat. Thompson was the idea that the Earth is radiating out the heat, and that is done by thermal conduction. When this happens, every nature of the agent, every agent that is exactly working on Earth, whether endogenetic forces or whether exogenetic, these are governed by some laws, and this has to relate with your heat. The heat balance is to answer every detail of the endogenetic movements and the exogenetic movements. And if this heat is being continuously thrown out or radiated out of the Earth, conducted out of the Earth, that would mean that the same things which were existing in the past will not exist today. Because heat has been continuously going out, that means that whatever is existing today may not exist in the past. So this was one of the criticisms that came. But then the dynamism of this philosophy or the theory is so that we have discovered that there are many isotopes that we have found, and they are all decaying. There is energy that is being built, and this energy continuously is also sent out. Also, we have the sun's energy as one of the mechanisms to show that Earth is receiving heat and then Earth is sending them out. So there is to be a balance that is to be made. So this postulation that no, or this criticism that no, uniformitarianism on the grounds of heat transfer or heat conduction could not stand the logics of that time. And hence, the principle of uniformitarianism that says that the present is the key to the past could be seen in many cases. Not all, not in absolute terms, but yes, in many cases. For example, plate tectonics. The plate movements that are happening has been happening since long. And when they happen, there are some landforms that are being made. So if we want to understand the past, we have to take an account of the events that are occurring in the present. That would be all for today. Thank you so much.